Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadi Tamastu Mavit Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. We'll chant Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verses 21 to 25.
Arjuna uvacha Kailingais strin gunanetan Atito bhavati prabho Kimachara katam chaitan Trin gunanati vartate Shri Bhagavanuvacha Prakasham cha pravrittim cha Mohameva cha pandava Nadveshti sampravrittani Nanivrittani kankshati Udasina vadasinaha Gunairyo na vichalyate Guna vartanta ityeva Yo vatishtati nengate Samadukha sukha svastaha Samaloštashma kanchanaha Tulya priya priyo dhiraha Tulya nindatma samstutihi Manapamanayostulyah Tulyo mitraripakshayoh Sarvarambha parityagi Gunatitassa uchyate.
The discussion from verse number 19 till 27 of this chapter is about Gunatita, one who has gone beyond the gunas. What are the marks of a person who's gone beyond the gunas? That was the question Arjuna asked. We saw that question last week. In verse number 21, Arjuna is asking, what marks has he who has crossed over these three gunas qualities, O Lord? What is his conduct and how does he go beyond these three gunas? This was Arjuna's question. It is the similar question as what he asked in the second chapter also. He asked about Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna means one whose wisdom is established in the reality 24/7, 365 days. Such a person is called as Sthita Prajnaha. Jnaha means one who knows. Prajnaha means one who knows well, deeply. And Sthita Prajnaha means as a result of knowing the Atma deeply, he or she has identified with that Atma and has become Atma. Such a person is called Sthita Prajnaha, one who has gone beyond the gunas. Truth or reality or Atma, the self, is beyond gunas. We have already studied that this world is nothing but a combination of Ishvara, that is Prakriti, and Purusha. Purusha and Prakriti. And Prakriti is the material cause, Purusha is the intelligent cause. And together Ishvara is the material and intelligent cause. And Prakriti is nothing but Maya. From Maya comes the three gunas. Maya is Trigunatmika. And that Satva, Rajas, Tamas manifests from Maya and the Sukshma Prapancha and the Stula Prapancha, the subtle world and the gross world, has come out of it. So this entire universe is nothing but the play of Prakriti, play of Maya, enlivened by the Purusha. Now when this understanding is there, you understand that Atma, the self, is beyond Prakriti. Purusha is not influenced by Maya. Maya is dependent on Purusha. Maya is a dependent force. Purusha is an independent force. So that Purusha, I'm borrowing the term force. Don't go about calling it as force. So it is something we have to call, so we are calling it like that. So Purusha, the self, is beyond Maya. It is beyond gunas. You are beyond gunas. But today you do not know that. You identify with the personality that is manifested when the Purusha is enlivening the gunas, which has been named and it has a form. It has certain qualities depending upon the combination of the gunas, Satva, Rajas, and Tamas. We have identified with it. Therefore, we think ourselves to be these gunas, either tamasic or rajasic or sattvic, whichever is predominant. And accordingly, we'll be bound by Satva, Rajas, and Tamas. If you are predominantly sattvic, you'll be bound by Satva. Predominantly Rajasic, bound by Rajas. Predominantly Tamasic, bound by Tamas. Now, he is talking about a person who's gone beyond the gunas. And each one of us have the potential to go beyond the gunas. So we say in Vedanta, the goal of life is to move from Tamas to Rajas to Satva and go beyond Satva also. Satva Atita or Guna Atita means Sthita Prajna, self-realized or enlightened person. So we have the capacity to rise above the gunas, establish ourselves more and more in Satva, and from there also to catapult to a state where we are even beyond the gunas. And few people have done that. Arjuna wants to know what are the marks of such a person. What are the marks of a person who's crossed over the gunas, and how does that person conduct, and what is the way in which we can go beyond these gunas? How to go beyond the gunas? How does he go beyond these three gunas? This was Arjuna's question. Now Sri Krishna answers. So let's take up the answer. Verse number 22.
श्रीभगवानुवाच प्रकाशं च प्रवृत्तिं च मोहमेव च पाण्डव न द्वेष्टि सम्प्रवृत्तानि न निवृत्तानि काङ्क्षति.
Sri Bhagavan Vacha, the Blessed Lord said to Arjuna's question, Sri Krishna answers. He says, Prakasham. Prakasham means light, clarity, knowledge, basically Satva. And Pravrittim, activity, means desire, restlessness, action, Rajas. And then Moham. Moham means delusion. Moham evacha. Prakasham cha pravrittim cha moham evacha. So by moham, delusion, heedlessness, or tamas is what is meant. So prakasham, sattva, pravrittim, rajas, moham, tamas. O Pandava, O Arjuna, light, activity and even delusion, sattva, rajas and tamas, he hates not when present, nor longs for them when absent. He hates not when present, nor longs for them when absent. Na dveshti sampravruttani. He hates not when present. Na nivrittani kankshati. Nor longs for them when it is absent. So, in this shloka, he's talking about as a person who's gone beyond the three gunas. What is his characteristics? The linga. Linga means marks or traits or symbols. How I can find, how do I identify somebody has gone beyond? So he says how to overcome the gunas. He's talking about it here. So, what is the nature of astita prajna? What is the nature of a person who's gone beyond? And the way to overcome these three gunas. This he's talking about here. So, he says, see, first of all, he says, he who has crossed the gunas, Satva, Rajas, and Tamas, doesn't hate the gunas when they are existing, are present, or doesn't crave for them when they're absent. Long for them when they're absent. What he's trying to say is, what is that which makes you sthita prajna or guna atita, going beyond the three gunas? Now, if you are talking about guna atita being in the world after realization, if that person is existing in this world after realization, for you and me to see, why is he here, first of all? We have discussed all these things before. We are just recollecting. Sanchita vasana is exhausted. No agami vasanas, no agami karma, no fresh vasanas. But the prarabdha vasanas which propel the person to take birth is not fully exhausted, and it is there, so that person continues living in this world. Now, in this world, if that person continues to live, but has gone beyond the three gunas, when operating in this world, he also will be going through the gunas only. Isn't it? His body, his mind, his intellect is a manifestation of gunas. The objects and beings of this world is manifestation of the gunas. So, for him also, the same world is existing. It is not that he will be in a different world. He will be seeing something else. He will not be seeing what we are seeing. He will not be experiencing what we are experiencing. He will also be, or she will also be experiencing the same thing. The gunas only. The Satva, Rajas, and Tamas is what this world is made up of. So that person will also be experiencing the Satva, Rajas, and Tamas. Isn't it? Now, when that person has gone beyond the three gunas, means, what do we mean by that? We mean, though the experience of that person is of the same world which is made up of these three gunas like you and me, internally there is neither craving nor hatred. What is that happening to us in our internal level? What is happening to us in the mind of ours when we are contacting the world? When something what we like is happening, we don't want it to go. We want it to continue. When we experience something that we don't like, right? We want it to go. So, a person who is in the world, we can call that person as Ajnani, who is still caught up in the gunas. And a person who's gone beyond the gunas, call that person as Jnani. We are now discussing Ajnani. Ajnani, how does that Ajnani function in the world? Has likes and dislikes. And if things happen according to his likes, he is excited. If things doesn't happen according to his likes, he gets dejected. So in his mind, there is reaction. And his mind is affected by the experiences. So what he is trying to say here is, for a Jnani also, the world is continuing The gunas are there. The fact that he's gone beyond it, the presence of it doesn't affect him, nor the absence of it make him crave for it. Now, this is very interesting. We can understand the presence of it not affecting it, him or her, isn't it? Because we just discussed. If you have gone beyond it, then you should be above it. So, if it is there, it may be affecting you. So, if he is a jnani, it is there but it doesn't affect him. Okay, I can understand this. But what does he mean by saying the absence of it doesn't make him crave for it? Why is he saying that? He's saying that because even a jnani who's gone beyond the tamas, rajas and sattva, when operates in the world, will be operating with tamas predominance or rajas predominance or sattva predominance. Anybody? From the technically from that person's point of view, is gone beyond all the gunas. But due to prarabdha vasanas, the person is functioning in the world. When that person is functioning in the world, will that person be operating with tamas predominance or rajas predominance or sattva predominance? Anybody? Please recollect what we have studied before. We have to rise from tamas to rajas to sattva and go beyond.
Should be sattva, sir.
He will be predominantly sattvic. Because to rise from tamas, what is the solution? Karma, action. And from rajas, to rise from rajas to sattva, karma yoga and upasana yoga. Now, then when you come to sattva, from sattva to go beyond through contemplation, jnana yoga. So only in sattva can you, or to the extent you have sattva, can you practice jnana yoga. In the sense, you need calmness, quietude to see the truth as it is. Isn't it? When you are disturbed, can you see things as it is? This morning I was with somebody and we were sitting in a room in his house. He had switched on the air conditioner. After some time, apparently he was feeling very cold. But the discussion was too interesting for him. As he is talking to me, he probably tried to find where the remote was, but he couldn't. So I didn't know all these things. He said this after the discussion was over and I was saying bye to him and leaving. That time he said, "Oh, the remote is just next to me. I was trying to see where it is while I was talking to you to find it to kind of increase the temperature, but I couldn't. Now I'm seeing it is just next to me. All along the remote was there only. It was caught up in something, discussing with me. So he didn't really see it, though it was there. Similarly, when our mind is caught up with something, we're all preoccupied in the world. We are chasing our desires. So from tamas we come to rajas and we are chasing our desires, the objects of our enjoyments. And we are lost in the world and we can't really see. Even understanding the concepts become a little difficult when we are too preoccupied. Same thing when we become a little quiet, calm. then it becomes little interesting. That's why one of the reasons sometimes when we take up subtler subjects like Upanishads and all, we do it when we go for a retreat. We go for a retreat for 3 or 4 days. We can do a Upanishad. Like Isavasya Upanishad has only 18 mantras. We can do it in 4 or 5 days retreat. And you also come away from your homes, relatively quiet environment, and internally also you are peaceful. So that time we can discuss the subtler terse concepts. It's conducive to see the truth as it is, to analyze and find out. So you have to come to predominantly sattvic, highly sattvic condition. Then from there you move to gunatita. So a person has moved from highly sattvic to gunatita. When that person is functioning highly sattvic condition, isn't it? Predominantly sattvic. So for a predominantly sattvic person, if tamas and rajas is the environment, or forget predominantly sattvic person, let's assume predominantly rajasic person. He goes to an environment where there is nothing feeding his desires, nothing to feed his desires. If taken him to a remote village, a person will be highly agitated, isn't it? The absence of what he wants will make him crave. And the presence of Satva and Tamas, isn't it? A Rajasic person will hate Sattvic and Tamasic environment. He can't stay there. So that is what he's saying. The absence and presence doesn't affect that person because the person has come to Sattvic level and also is gone beyond it. So not only is calm, composed, balanced, and is also someone who's seen the truth which is beyond the gunas and identified with it and has become it. So in other words, that person's focus is constantly upon the Atma, the self. And he associates only with that. Remaining in that, he is observing his Sattva predominance and at times Rajas and Tamas and Sattva, Rajas, Tamas externally. All these things he is able to be a witness. He is keeping them all at a distance, or rather he or she has distanced oneself from that mentally, internally. So he says, therefore, the gunas are there. He is experiencing the same world as you and me do. Whatever is the condition, he also experiences it. But the person is de-identified with the world and identified with the self. That disassociation with the world has come about because of the person's association with the Atma. Okay. So, when you attune yourself to the self, to the extent you have attuned yourself to the self, to that extent you become a witness to the gunas in you and others also. Isn't it? So, that is why we say the practices that help in building awareness, any practice for that matter, could be mindful eating or mindful contacting, anything, which are, we talk about introspection before going to sleep, meditation, In all this, what is happening? There are certain meditation in which you just focus on the, the lamp, maintain that awareness. And it slips, bring it back. Or you focus on your breathing in and breathing out. And it slips, you bring it out, bring it back. So there is an awareness, watchfulness. This watchfulness is what happens when you do contemplation, discrimination also. Same thing happens when you're analyzing any problem. Whether you're doing it yourself or you're sitting with somebody else and doing analysis. Whether it's elderly person at home or with your colleagues, friends, or with a guru, or with a psychiatrist or philosopher, whatever it is. You are looking at the problem objectively. Isn't it? The problem is there, you're analyzing it. Seeing what is right, what is wrong, what is the cause. You're doing it. That distancing itself brings you that calmness, quietude. You're able to bring the solution peacefully. So, when you have moved into guna atita state, once you have become guna atita, you will retain it 24/7, 365 days. Even though you have now manifested in this world, like you continue, you have now means you continue, and predominantly sattvic is how you are functioning in the world. You will not be attached to even sattva. While you are predominantly sattvic, you may be attached to sattva. He said, no, sattvic person also will be bound to knowledge and happiness. In the guna atita case, that also will not be there. In fact, to bring about control and management and control over anything in life, you should first understand what it is. For example, when we say we want to control anger. Firstly, we are now discussing about anger management and control. Firstly, the persons who are angry are probably not admitting that they have this problem of becoming angry, that they don't have control. Maybe that is the situation. And the second is, even if I'm getting angry, it is because that person did this person did that. So the root cause is external, is what their belief, thinking is. Now these things needs to be first sorted out. First, the person who is suffering from anger issues has to understand that he has a problem of anger and he is helpless, he wants to come out. And that person has to understand that the situation being the same is not bringing anger in somebody else. It's bringing anger to me, but not to others. Why? Because I have a desire, I have an expectation which is not met. And anger is nothing but desire interrupted. So when my desire, expectation is not met, whatever is creating that problem, not allowing me to meet my expectation or desire, to that person or situation, my thought current gets deflected and I get angry with them. This is anger. So the root cause of anger is my desire. And this desire is interrupted, therefore anger comes. So desire is with me. Now what has happened? I was saying the problem is there, outside. Now I understand the problem here. So in every situation, whatever it is, what desire was interrupted. So then now slowly, my understanding, my knowledge is becoming more and more. I'm becoming aware of many other factors. Then once the anger comes, in the beginning, it starts like a small force. Then slowly it gathers momentum. When it gathers momentum, what is it doing? It is taking away my thinking ability, everything. And it starts affecting my body. I'm not even able to communicate what I want to communicate properly. So I start becoming aware of all these things. So once I start becoming aware of all these things, I can give solution to myself. What kind of stupid expectation it is. There's nothing wrong in having an expectation. But to expect my expectations to be met all the time, and when it is not met, to get angry and agitated and try to justify how correct it is. So through reason, logic also, I understand. And that controls me. Then the fact that I am distancing myself and watching, I gather more control over it. Nothing has changed. After that also the same situation continues. But you are not having the same level of anger before, like you had before. It is reduced. How? Just by becoming watchful and understanding, you are able to become watchful and control it. Isn't it? When a batsman is not able to play a particular bowler, he is made to see the video of that bowler. So many balls he sees. And he begins to understand, okay, if he bowls like this, it is half spinner. If he bowls like this, a leg spinner, it's a googly. Everything he understands. Then he goes and practices. He's able to see, okay, he's doing this, then he understands, googly. He'll play accordingly. Maybe he has to go back foot or front foot. He's able to control and manage. When he begins to understand it, becomes watchful. So, in other words, you have to disassociate and associate with the higher and then deal with it. So, without that, it is not possible to deal with it. So, how is it that a guna theta functions like this? That's what I'm talking about. Light, activity, delusion, which is Satva, Rajas, Tamas. He hates not when present, nor longs for them when absent. I am a gunatita. Why these things are there? Take it away. No, doesn't affect him. Nor, oh, these things will be nice. I am sattvic predominant. So if sattva things are there, it will be nice. It's not there. Can I have it? No longing. In short, the world doesn't bind that person. These are not conditions that has to exist for that person or not exist. Whether they exist or doesn't exist doesn't affect that person because he has become free from it. Now, free from it in the sense, he has made them inefficient to affect him. Please understand this. A rice can germinate as long as it is not roasted in fire. When the rice is roasted in fire and then you sow it in the ground, it won't germinate. It can't sprout. So through the fire of knowledge, through the technique of objectivity, with the power of witnessing, knowing the truth of the gunas and the Atma, identifying with the Atma, in the fire of knowledge, a gunatita has burnt the gunas so that they don't affect him anymore. Burn doesn't mean he has destroyed the capacity to enjoy them. No. See, we also have the capacity to see now. Thank God. Now, I can do something foolishly. In fact, one boy, unfortunately 2 years ago, he had come to the ashram for youth camp. Going back, he was celebrating Diwali, and I don't know what he did, something foolish he did or what. He lost one eyesight. Luckily, one other eye is still there. But one eye is gone. Doctor said, no, it cannot be restored. It's a very sad thing, but it has happened. So, you can destroy your eyes and not be able to see the world. The world is not existing for him or doesn't enter that person through the eyes. So, it may not affect him. Is that the case with Siddha Prajna? No. The eyes are there, the mind is there, same world the person is experiencing, everything is same. He's not destroyed them, made them incapacitated. No. Mind is seeing the world, but earlier it used to get affected, now it is not getting affected. What is the difference? He's not hating the world or anything like that. He has understood this is how the world will be. This is its nature. Satva will be like this, Rajas will be like this, Tamas will be like this. And a mixture of all this is this world. And I am Atma, and I am identifying with it, and sitting, identifying with the Atma, I'm watching this tamasha. It doesn't affect. Maybe I am highly sattvic, predominantly sattvic, and rajasic and tamasic things are going on. Doesn't affect me. And I'm not craving for sattva, like a sattvic predominant person, predominantly sattvic person. So that's what he's saying. When present, hates not when present, nor longs for them when absent. This is possible because with knowledge of the self and identification with the self and realizing the truth, he's made the world become ineffective to affect him or her. This is what we need to understand. So, he says the way to overcome the gunas or the effect of gunas upon ourselves is by going beyond them. And going beyond them means what? It is disassociating with them. And any disassociation means you have to associate with something higher. When you identify with something higher, you become detached from the lower. This is the principle of attachment. You cannot become detached from the lower unless you identify with something higher. So you become disinterested in the presence and absence of the gunas because you are merged in the Atma. That's all we need to understand. So, what does that mean? It means that he is identified with Atma. As you think, so shall you become. He is constantly identified with the Atma and has become Atma. Having become Atma, he enjoys the gunas. He sees the gunas playing, and I have nothing to do with it, is his understanding. Therefore, he is able to be indifferent or objective to the presence and absence of the gunas because he's crossed over. So, this crossing over means simply gaining the knowledge and awareness, retaining the awareness. From the time it starts till it makes you go mad, you are aware. Then you won't go mad. Somewhere we lose the awareness, and that's when we start becoming mad. Mad means what? I've forgotten myself. I mean, I've lost awareness. And I don't know what I'm doing. Person who is angry, he'll say, I'm not angry. I'm not angry at all. He's not even aware. Till the time he was aware, he cannot be angry. The moment awareness is gone, he becomes angry. So by constant understanding and practice, when you retain that awareness, then you cannot be bound. It won't affect you anymore. It won't bother you. There is a elbow distance between you and the gunas. That's all he's saying. That elbow distance can come only through sadhana, karma, bhakti, jnana. When you supplement your intake of knowledge with a disciplined lifestyle, slowly, you will identify with the higher. By constant attachment to the higher, you will become detached from the lower. It is not possible otherwise. Please remember this. You cannot detach from the lower unless you get attached to the higher. When we discuss renunciation also, we have discussed this many times. Renunciation is not detaching from the lower. It is attaching with the higher. When the flower matures into a fruit, the petals of the fruit fall away. Similarly, when you are moved from this level to Atma, from there you can watch and these things will not affect you. So primarily, what is the difference between predominantly sattvic person and guna atita, who when manifests in this world functions as predominantly sattvic? What is the difference? As predominantly sattvic person will be bound by Satva guna. Isn't it? Why this Rajas and Tamas is there? I want sattvic environment. Everybody is all the time chasing something or the other. It will be nice if Upanishad classes are going on. So there's a condition. He is bound. He or she is dependent. Sattva pradhana person also is dependent. But Sattva atita, guna atita becomes independent. That's the point. Because of his association with the truth. Because of the association with the truth, the person becomes absolutely independent. Their presence or absence makes no difference to him or her. In other words, tamasic environment will have the same effect on him also, like it has on us. But we get affected by it. He or she doesn't get affected. So, in other words, they've made the inner adjustments. So it's internal, it's not external. That's the difference. Predominantly sattvic person wants happiness and knowledge all the time, no? He'll be agitated. Even when he goes to eat food, he would like sattvic food. If rajasic food is what is available all the time, a little bit affects that person. What is this? It's not because of laziness or something that he accepts everything. When a person moves beyond, he understands in some context. This is what is available. He'll be okay with it. So nothing is a condition. All conditions are removed because the person has gone to the level of Atma. From that level, when a person is functioning, how can anything affect that person? Not possible. Isn't it? Even in the world, you see, When somebody is working with some higher goal, small little things doesn't affect the person. In fact, one of the qualities of a student, Shishya, the scriptures talk about is titiksha, putting up with inconvenience cheerfully. And how is it that the person is able to put up with inconvenience cheerfully? Where is the cheer coming from? The cheer is coming from the pursuit of the higher. See, when you are pursuing something with a result in mind, your cheer is associated with the result. When there is somebody coming in between or some delay, something, your cheer goes. But if you are pursuing something not with the result in mind, you are pursuing something because of the love of it, or as a duty for the higher call, out of gratitude, you don't look at the result. You're happy that you got an opportunity to serve. You're happy that you got an opportunity to do what you love. You're happy that you got an opportunity to serve. Then you will be cheerful whether or not the results are getting delayed. And when the results are getting delayed, you will analyze why it's not come. I'm putting the efforts. Where am I going wrong? Cheerfully, you'll be doing that analysis also. And then you are not result oriented. Your cheer continues. You were not able to be affected by the delay in the result, whereas the other fellows are affected. Why? Because your focus is somewhere else. Isn't that what happens in the world? When you're focusing on something else, higher, these things don't bother. So similarly, when a student who is thinking of Atman Brahman will definitely see the discomfort that is existing, but it will not affect that person. Because the thought is on something else. When you don't have anything higher, then you'll be sitting and cribbing. See, there's a difference between seeing the fact and not getting affected and not able to see the fact as it is. The tamasic fellow is not seeing the situation that he or she is in. Supposing they are in slush, they are not even aware. But a sattvic fellow is aware. Rajasic fellow is seeing and getting affected. Tamasic fellow is not even seeing. Sattvic person sees it. But his mission is something higher. He doesn't get affected. Whatever has to be done to overcome that, he will do. It will not get affected. Isn't it? So, when the mission is something higher, it will not bother you. If it's not and you're stuck at that level, it will bother you. That's what he's saying. This guna atita has gone beyond gunas, and from the self, he is functioning. Since he is functioning from the self, its presence or absence doesn't affect. So that's why at any given point in time, we have to constantly identify with something higher. And by identifying with higher, we become free from the lower. The highest is Atma, which is nothing but pure consciousness or pure awareness. And that's why through all activities, all we are trying to do is to increase the intensity of the flame of awareness. Whether it is through Karma Yoga or Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga practice also. They just you stand on your head. It's not that. Every little movement you do with awareness. There is an integration of body, mind, and intellect. Only it's yoga. Otherwise, it's not yoga. So, you are doing bodily exercises, pranic exercises, but you are also being mindful, watchful. So, same thing, Karma Yoga. Same thing, Bhakti Yoga. Same thing, Jnana Yoga. The equipments used are different. The body, mind, intellect. But in all these yogic practices, what is the primary idea? The primary idea is to increase the intensity of awareness. Once the intensity of awareness goes to a certain level, it chars the things and objects and experiences that is affecting you. You will go through the same experience, but they will not have the capacity to affect you. Why? They are roasted in the fire of knowledge. They are roasted in the fire of awareness. Thereafter, they cannot affect it. That's what he's saying. He understands that all these are manifestations of Maya. Then how will he get affected? He won't. That's all he says. The presence and absence makes no difference. It is not that when he says the presence and absence makes no difference, means he's become a dejected person. A lot of people understand like, oh, you become dejected. So what is this? There's no longing. There is no nothing. Then how? What kind of a world life is this? He should be resisting it if it's not present. And if it is absent, obviously you should be craving for it. What I want is not present. Then I should be resisting that, no? When what I want is not there, I should resist, I fight, I bring it. Similarly, when what I don't want is there, I should resist that and then get rid of it. And I must crave for bringing that situation and establish it. That's what we think. In fact, to do that, you need to be calm, to be balanced. To set right any situation, you need to be calm and balanced, watchful. Otherwise, it's not possible. That is why we say, the more and more you get rooted in yourself, the more and more you gain control over your life. A child holds on to a pillar and swings herself. Similarly, you need a subtler aspect to hold on, to swing yourself in the grosser aspects of the life. When you do not know anything subtler, you identify only at the gross level. And that is when the dejection and all these things can come. Otherwise, it cannot come. So that is why we need to constantly expose ourselves to the higher. And with reference to the higher, the lower will not have the capacity to affect us anymore. So beautifully he says, Prakasham cha pravrittim cha moham eva cha panaka. So in this line we understand, Prajna also, let's say last night, 12 o'clock you realized and slept off. In the morning you wake up 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever time. You are now woken up as a Satva. Nobody knows that you are a Satva except yourself. Very few people, if at all they have also reached that height, they may know. Now, the world continues the same. Everything continues the same. But your experience is different. You are in Ananda. You are in cheer. It doesn't affect you. They are not a compulsion that it has to be like, has to be this way or that way. Even when things are not all right, you're fine with it. Fine with it doesn't mean you won't do anything to set it right. That is what I have to, this has to be understood. And the fact that he is fine with it, he is qualified to set it right. If I'm affected by it, then I'm not qualified to set it right. In the sense, I will make it even worse. This is what we are doing. So that's why we say only a person who goes deeper into his or her personality is able to have control over his or her personality. And only one who is having influence over one's own personality can have influence over others. And such a person doesn't get influenced by others. That is what we need to understand. That is what he says in this shloka. Let's conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.